Hey top centers, the one and only Razor Joey here, talking about the anti-plasma mechanic that's being introduced in Plasma Blast. The best place to start is with the anti-plasma cards themselves, what they do and how they work. Now, to simplify things, I'm going to assume that everything that got printed in Japan's Megalo Cannon will be printed in our Plasma Blast. So firstly we have Driftblim, 100 hit point Psychic Stage 1 with a weakness to Dark and Food Retreat. Now for the anti-plasma part, its ability, Floaty Balloon, which lowers the cost of Driftblim's attacks by 1 colorless energy for every plasma Pokemon your opponent has in play, which combined with Derail, an attack that costs 3 colorless energy, can lead to some incredibly cheap or even free damage. But what does Derail do, I hear you say? Well, for a cost of 3 or possibly less energy, you can deal 70 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and discard an energy attached to it. That's a guaranteed detachment. No conflict. No detaching of your own energy, just punch and steal. When the scans for Megalo Cannon first hit, there was a lot of love for this guy. The potential to attack for a decent number and to hinder your opponent for free is huge in any format. And the Typhlosion in Tyram made a viable attacker because its attack basically said the same as Derail, as Typhlosion covered its detachment with its own poke power. Next we have Sorg, who can do 10 damage for 1 colorless. If the defending Pokemon is a Plasma Pokemon though, you can do an extra 40 damage. So in short, this translates to 50 for 1. With Sorg having just over average hit point for a standard basic, I can't see him hanging around for long. But when we factor in that he can 2-shot Thunderous for 1 energy, he could have potential. I personally say that Sorg is a Pokemon to keep an eye on just in case, but I personally don't see it breaking the meta anytime soon. Following on from Sorg, we have Houndoom, a stage 1 that has 100 hit points and can deliver 60 damage for a Dark and double colorless. This doubles if Houndoom is attacking a Plasma Pokemon, so that's 120 damage. How can we make this better? How about burning them? Sound good? Good, you burn them as well. There is one downside though. It's a Dark Houndoom instead of Fire, so you won't be one-shotting Genesect X or Virizion X anytime soon, but that damage output is nice. The only real downside overall is the speed to set up against decks like Plasma Box, which are known for their incredibly fast early game, but this guy could leave a mark on the game. Only time will truly tell. Next we have Haxorus, and his mighty Master Blow, or Strike of a Champion if you've seen the scan, which for fighting in a metal knocks out the defending Pokemon if it's a Plasma Pokemon. Pretty simple really. This is kind of what Machamp said to SPs 2 formats back. Oh, you match the specifics of a certain archetype? Okay, bye then. In my opinion, this is the biggest anti-Plasma card being released. It isn't dealing in lower costs or higher damage, it's just looking across, asking if it's Plasma, and if it is, just get out of here, be gone. We don't appreciate your type around these parts. Haxorus also comes with a retreat cost of 2, a weakness to Dragon, 140 hit points,
and my axe.
And yes, Dragon Axe, which delivers 40 damage for each melee energy attached to Haxorus, meaning that with use of Blend Energy, you can either swing for 80 or knock out a Plasma Pokemon. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. And the last anti-Plasma card to look at is the Silver Mirror, an item card that when attached to a non-X Pokemon will stop all effects of a Plasma Pokemon's attacks, including damage. The spot? Sigilyph from Dragons Exalted. And then it tends to stop there because a Pokemon that can wall 2/3 of the format is good in any format, and I'd be surprised if we didn't see Sigilyph Mirror in the future. Now that we've seen what's being released, we can see that we have some options to work with, from low energy attacking to added damage or walling, or plainly knocking them out. But we have to ask ourselves, how do we make use of anti-Plasma cards effectively? Well, we could just focus on Haxorus and try to knock out Plasma X's so that we hold a 2-for-1 prize exchange, except for one problem. There is currently only one deck in format that's solely Plasma, and with Plasma Blast we get Genesect Virizion, which has Jessup X as its only plasma. So that's 1.5 decks, with decks like Keldeo, Blastoise and Darkrai to contend with. So maybe a better question would be, can we use Antiplasma when it's released? Personally, I think yes we can. The mistake is thinking that we should use Antiplasma as the core of a deck, whereas it would be more beneficial to make Antiplasma an option for the deck, instead of making it the sole focus of it. If Plasma is the sole focus of your build, then you won't be able to contend with anything non-Plasma. In my opinion, the best Antiplasma cards are going to be the Silver Mirror and Drifblim, as they can both still function normally without having to face Plasma. Drifblim just attacks faster against Plasma, and the Silver Mirror, while being solely geared towards countering Plasma, it's most likely going to be a functional dex out to Plasma, and not a dependent piece of the deck itself. The major point I'm getting at is, the entire format isn't going to be Plasma. If you plan your entire deck around anti-Plasma cards, then you can beat Plasma Box, but we still have Keldeo Blastoise, Darkrai, Parisian X, which can all deliver damage, and that's not even factoring in how fast and reliable Plasma Box can be. Haxorus isn't going to be much use if the Plasma Box player gets down a Thundurus with 2 Deoxys and starts gunning down Axews. You're not going to set up. You need an out to all matchups, not just one, or you'll find yourself in a tough situation in most matches. The potential for Drifblim to act as an attacker against decks, both Plasma and non-Plasma, makes it a sound investment for the upcoming format. 70 damage doesn't seem like a lot of damage, but when you factor in the energy discard, you can find yourself severely hindering your opponent, and in some cases, can find them unable to attack because, well, if you send enough energy to the discard pile, they're eventually going to start running out, and they start whiffing the attachments they need to attack consistently. The biggest question I can see facing Drifblim is, what do we pair him with? He's a stage 1 that takes 3 energy to attack. In the non-Plasma matchup, he could be pretty slow. Well, why not try him in existing decks, ones that already have energy acceleration? Basically any of the top 4 decks during its period of release. Genesect, Blastoise, Darkrai, and even Plasma. Yep, that's right. You can run an anti-Plasma card in Plasma Box. None of the cards I've mentioned in this episode say that you can't use Plasma Pokemon. They're just there to punish your opponent for using them. But right now, the only thing that's really standing out to me as a deck to pair Drifblim in is Darkrai. Drifblim's already discarding energy, so why not go for Drifblim Hammers? Back when Plasmabot was about to hit the meta, I tried testing out a Hammers build, with one thing in mind. If you can hit 2 Hammers a turn, Plasmabox should eventually grind to a halt. This is working on the opinion that an average turn for Plasmabox will grant them 2 attachments. Colorless Machine could be ignored because Plasma Energy was colorless and nothing in the deck could attack on purely colorless energy other than Lugia and Snorlax, both of which take a while to set up. Drifblim is guaranteeing 1 hammer. Drifblim is guaranteeing 1 hammer a turn by itself, so all you need is to hit 1 other hammer and you can start to starve your opponent of energy. Now this thinking sounds like it's completely Plasma based, but remember, Darkrai's holding its own right now against the rest of the format. All you're doing is adding functionality, and Darkrai thrives off gaining new functions and abilities. All that being said, this is just what I have in mind at the moment. I'm sure there's somebody that's spent months working on the perfect deck to incorporate the anti-Plasma mechanic, and I can't wait to see it. So until next time, I'm Red to Joey. You guys will always be the top percent. Peace out.